Yeah, they're definitely eyebrow-raising donations when you pair it with the fact that he's been meeting and talking with these executives privately, while at the same time Tester was advocating for them to get funds. It's a case where the Tester campaign and his office, they did not address the merits sort of head-on. They said that they did not have influence in who was in the consortium or how money is divvied out. And it should be noted that it's unclear how much these executives' companies stand to gain from that $41 million grant.
Welcome to Reporter's Notebook, where we talk to the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the stories breaking on their beats. I'm Jim Antle, and I'm joined today by Congressional reporter Ramsey Touchberry. Ramsey, you've written a story about one of the hot Senate races that's going on this fall, and Senator Jon Tester, Democrat from Montana, he's up for re-election. He's gotten himself into a bit of a controversy. What are the details?
Yeah, this is Senate Democrats' most competitive race this cycle. It's one that they absolutely have to win to have a shot at keeping the Senate. Essentially, we found through public records and finance records and meetings that he's had that within the past 2 years, he's met with Montana executives who have donated to him at the same time that he has advocated the federal government to give a consortium that they're members to federal funding. This consortium ended up receiving a $41 million grant recently through the CHIPS and Science Act. And what we discovered was that within this past year, as Tester was lobbying the Biden administration for this funding, these two executives that are part of the consortium donated a cumulative $30,000 to his re-election campaign. This might seem like a small amount in the grand scheme of things, but it's an example of what ethics experts tell me is a problem with how Washington politics works. There wasn't anything nefarious with any finance laws, but it's, again, the latest sign of how Washington works, how lobbying works, and how lawmakers ultimately can help, the people they're closest to sometimes get benefits from the government as well.
So nothing illegal per se, but something that might raise concerns about pay to play in the minds of at least some people.
Yeah, they're definitely eyebrow-raising donations when you pair it with the fact that he's been meeting and talking with these executives privately, while at the same time Tester was advocating for them to get funds. It's a case where the Tester campaign and his office, they did not address the merits sort of head-on. They said that they did not have influence in who was in the consortium or how money is divvied out. And it should be noted that it's unclear how much these executives' companies stand to gain from that $41 million grant. It hasn't yet been sort of divvied up between projects that they'll be working on, but it does seem that they stand to gain at least a little bit from this money.
What is the state of the Montana Senate race right now?
Yeah, it is neck and neck, but Republicans do have a slight advantage. Recent polling shows the Republican there, former Navy SEAL Tim Sheehy, has a few point percentage lead. In some polls, it's just outside the margin of error, while others, it's still within the margin of error, so it's very close. But again, it's one of these races where Democrats must win in order to have a shot at keeping the Senate.
And it's tough because this is a state where former President Donald Trump is very heavily favored to win, not only win it, but win it by a pretty big margin, although Tester did survive in 2012 when Mitt Romney was carrying the state.
He did, but this will be the first time that Tester's on the ballot with Trump. And Trump carried the state in 2020 by 16 points. So he's going to need a lot of split ticket voters, which as we know nowadays are increasingly less common. But it will be a test of whether Tester can be the only really red state Democrat left under Trump since he's entered the scene years ago in our politics.
Tester is being tested.
He is.
Thank you, Ramsey.
Thank you.
You can read Ramsey and the rest of our political team's coverage at washingtonexaminer.com.